Hi everyone, Marlene here from Fit Within Yoga and Fitness YouTube channel. And also we have virtual and in-studio classes. So thank you for joining me today. So we have a nice post yoga practice for you. So post soccer. Again, you can also do this nice yin yoga sequence from any other workout that you've done. A lot of the times in most sports or in most activities, we are using a lot of our legs, our hamstrings, our glutes, our quadriceps. So front of the thighs, back of the thighs, our glutes, our bum, definitely very powerful muscles as well that can also affect, sciatica, a lot of pain through the low back and pulling on tight hamstrings as well. And you want to try to avoid that so that you can play with ease and enjoy the game of soccer. So recovery, recovery, recovery. I've always said my slogan is you are only as fit as you are recovered. So recovery is really key. And of course, being a yoga teacher, it's definitely one of the foundational practices that I do pre and post workout. So this one is going to feature a lot of hip opening, also the quadriceps, some hamstrings, and even our whole spine, right? Anytime you are on your feet and running, so much is happening in our spine, and shortening muscles as well in that way. So we want to make sure we're taking care of our spine because our spine is our lifeline. Think about a computer, right? Without all of that internal stuff, that monitor wouldn't run, no difference than our physical body. So I hope you can join me on the mat for not too long of a practice. So probably about 15 minutes so that you can commit to this, and even maybe up to 20 minutes. So choosing if you want to stay in relaxation in Shavasana, that nice reset, that time to surrender and let your muscles and your mind go is also really key to improve your recovery and improve your sleep as well, right? The better the sleep, the better recovery. So it all plays a good role in anything we want to achieve. So I would suggest having yoga blocks. If you don't have them, don't be too concerned about that. And a yoga strap. And if you don't have a yoga strap, you can also use a towel or anything like a dog leash, anything that could mimic that, just to help you support some of the poses without stressing other parts of your body. So we're going to connect on our mats together, and we're going to start in lying down. So let's say you've done a game. You've practiced, let's say you're able to come home, or let's say you've gone somewhere else and you want to do a nice recovery. Put this video on and join me on the mat. So lying down on our backs, you can have the legs bent. So if you find that your low back is feeling pretty tender, we call this a nice variation where you tent the knees together and bring the feet wider than the hips. So you're welcome to stay here. You can place the hands on your belly or extend the arms out to the side, yogi's choice. If not, our traditional Shavasana, extending the legs out to the corners of the mat. And let's just bring awareness to the breath. Pranayama breathing in yoga is in through the nose and out the nose, and that's what's going to help calm our central nervous system, which is really key post-workout. So take a breath in through the nose, out through the nose. If you find you still need a few breaths out the mouth, you find the heart rate is kind of up there still, then take a moment to just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Once we feel settled, feeling our back body really soften, sink down towards the mat. We continue to find that breath in through the nose and out the nose. Setting an intention to feel more ease, to recover from our workout or our soccer practice, our soccer game. You can also do this like the day after, especially if you're feeling really sore. Take some time out, carve it out, get on your mat. So we'll just start to wiggle our fingertips and toes. And again, practices for yoga tend to be, a good hour length. And you do really need a good hour length if you really want to kind of get into that deep state of relaxation. And it's always a practice. That's why you'll always hear us say it's a practice, right? So many different variables can be affecting our body and mind. So now we're going to take our legs and keep our knees bent to start, just to support our low back on the mat. Take the hands either on the shin or the back of the thigh. Extend the left leg long, stretching out our back, gentle hip opening here. Breathe in and out. Start to notice how much more you're settling in. You can give your right hip a little gentle rock side to side. This is always one of my favorite, little gentle kind of warm-ups, but even just kind of getting into our body, feeling out the tight spaces, kind of check in to see how that hip joint is moving, right? So important to take care of our joints, especially with any intense physical activity. Good. And then when you're ready, let's take the right leg to the sky, and you can just basket the hands around the back of the right hamstring and flex and point that right foot, that right ankle. And on your feet for the last couple hours. And again, circle that out in both directions, inwardly and outwardly. Nice, lowering that right foot back down to the mat. Good, let's bring our left foot back down or back in and hug now the left knee towards the chest. Hands on the back thigh or shin. Right leg can extend long. I like to usually keep it on the back thigh and just soften my shoulders down a little bit more. Breathing in and out. And again, knees to chest is always a great way to massage the internal organs, especially they've been under stress, right? They've been in that flight and fight response, right? In a game, it's like we go into that stress response because that's the body's adrenaline rushing to support you in the game, right? Your energy. We only feel our bodies when we come down. So give it a nice little gentle rock side to side. Notice how your left hip is feeling, maybe the low back. And then taking our left leg to the sky, flexing through that foot. You can just take your hands and basket around the lower back of the thigh and try to straighten it as best as you can and flex and point. And let's circle that around inwardly and then outwardly. Nice. When you're ready, let's lower that left foot down. Bring the right foot in to meet the left. Good. And then we're going to bring our knees towards our armpits, coming right into happy baby. Another option too, if you're really tight in your upper back, your neck, your shoulders, take a strap or whatever you have available and take it across the base of the sole of the foot there where the metatarsal bone is. And then you can use that to bring the knees closer towards the armpits, right? Your feet face the ceiling and the shoulders are resting down. If you're like, oh yeah, I can do that, then maybe remove the strap and you can reach for inside or outside soles of the feet. You can also just modify on the back of the thighs and do this variation known as dead bug pose. And notice if you're lifted off the ground. So notice if your tailbone is just tucked. If it is, untuck the tailbone. So make it neutral. Breathe in and out. Nice hip and back opener here. And as we release, bring the feet together, bring the knees together, and lower the feet to the mat. Good. You can give yourself a few supine Hip sways side to side, from hips, knees to feet. Good, and then let's take either the right or the left arm over the head, roll over to one side, put them into this nice fetal position, soften your mind, breathe in and out. Good, and then when we're ready, we're gonna find our way up to all fours. So taking care of our spine, because it's our lifeline. Let's move through a few rounds of the cat-cow. Inhale, exhale. So if you have issues with your knees or they're pretty sore, sometimes tucking the toes just gives them a little bit more support. So the option is there. It's always available to you. Lengthening and flexing through the core as you round through the back. Lengthening here, shoulders draw back and together, gaze forward, tailbone lifts. Doing a few rounds here so you start to really feel all of those muscles become more supple. Remember, our muscles move us, our joints stabilize us. Good. When you're ready, find neutral spine. Give yourself a nice child's pose stretch here. Good, so you can either stack your fist in order to prop your forehead on top. If it's too much to bring the forehead to the mat, you're also welcome to use a block in any height and rest your forehead on top. We want the neck to be rested. Avoid it from stressing and working too hard. Breathe in and out. Inhale, expand the back of the ribcage. Exhale, soften. Again, inhale, expand. Exhale, soften. You can massage that forehead temple to temple. And back up to neutral. So now we're gonna actually face down on our bellies. And this is where you can use a strap if you need it. If you do have more flexibility, you can just use the hand to foot. So since I'm doing my right side, I'll face you here. So start to loop. And if you don't have a loop, you're gonna have to wrap it around the whole thing or see if you can create a loop, but typically you want a loop. If you're using a towel, just wrap the towel, right? The two edges pulled together. So you're gonna take that right onto the base sole of the foot. You can also do these stretches in standing, but for the purpose of keeping our bodies getting into that parasympathetic state, right? The relaxation, we want to try to keep the body more rested. So if it's accessible, you're going to grab hand to foot and just bring that heel towards the buttocks. Keep a bend in your elbow, and you can use your left forearm out in front as a pillow. And you're going to lift your heel or bring your heel towards your butt. You can lift your thigh slightly off the ground and try to press your pubic bone down. You're going to feel a deep stretch through the front of your quadricep on the right side, the front of the thigh. So if that is available to you, choose that. If you're really tight, you can definitely just choose to stay here. You can come up onto the forearms, or you can lie down and use that right arm and rest the forehead on that left forearm. Try to send the breath to the muscle you're working. Set that intention to let go and release. Beautiful. So either release the hand from the foot or release the strap from your hand from the right strap. And then gently taking your elbows under your shoulders. So we're just gonna hang out here for a moment. One of my favorite restorative poses here for the low back. Just allow your elbows to stack under your shoulders. Keep the heart lifted. Keep the legs relaxed. Relax your glutes, your buttocks muscles. So notice if they're tensing, try to relax. If you find it's too much on your back, you just simply walk your elbows more out in front. Take this moment to help our low back space here. Throat is open, chin forward. I like to send the breath down to the belly here. Exhale, letting go, soften, lift the heart forward and up. Elbows are gently pressing down and back. Wide through collarbones. Smile in that collarbone area. When you're ready, taking those elbows out to the side, take the hands by the sides of the ribs. Again, you can wiggle your way out of that strap. Tuck the toes, pushing up and back. Child's pose for a nice counter. And again, you can always come out of that quicker if you'd like. If you're short on time, just kind of reduce the length of time you're in these poses, right? So on the other side, we're gonna take it to the left base sole of the foot, kind of get it ready there so we're not stressing our bodies. Just like you can do this in standing, same concept, kind of drape it over your left shoulder. Okay. That's why it's good to have a really good yoga strap. So if you need any referral for, props, please let me know. Love My Mat is in Hamilton. They do ship as well though. And these are yoga props from there, these yoga straps, and made from recyclable materials. So you're doing something good for the earth. All right, so remember, hand to foot, if that's available, use your right forearm as a pillow. And you can bend your left elbows, helps to relax, or not relax, but support the shoulder. And you can gently lift your thigh slightly off the ground as you press your pubic bone down to feel a deeper stretch through the front of the quadricep. And once again, the use of the strap, you can also use that left arm, rest the right forehead on top. You're just shortening that strap as much as you need to get a deeper stretch. Good. When you're ready, let's release. Good. Let's find our way back to Sphinx. Let's add that in again. Good. Now, if you want to go a little deeper with this pose, angle your arms slightly there like a seal, and then you can extend fully into this extension of the spine. So you can progress to this over time. Tailbone lengthens towards the heels, heart's open, gaze forward, crown of the head lengthens tall. Take a breath. In and out. Try to soften the muscles of the glutes, especially they're going to be pretty turned on from your game, from your practice. Get your mind focused on relaxation. Just as we train our muscles to do what we want them to do, we need to also train our bodies to relax. And again, if this is still too much, just you're coming back to the forearms under shoulders, or again, walking them out to take a little bit more pressure off the spine. And then then stacking our palms like a pillow. Let's take our legs in the air and give yourself some sways here, side to side. And then tucking our toes, placing our hands by the sides of the ribs. Inhale, push up and back. Let's find downward facing dog. You can also just come to child's pose, right? This is a great pose to elongate the entire back body. So the spine, the neck, your entire back body, back of the thighs, the hamstrings, the calves. Staying in this inversion for a few breaths and a nice static hold. So the knuckles rooted down, fingertips rooted down. And then when we're ready, we're going to take our knees to the mat. Good. And when you're ready here, tucking the toes, walk the hands into the tops of the thighs, sit back onto the heels. So in the pre-game yoga warm-up series, we did a more passive one. So just because your body might be a little tense prior, but hopefully as you relax, again, tuck those pinkies, you can settle here. I would say for 10 breaths, mind over matter, place the hands at the heart or rest them on your thighs, focus on the breath. You can also do these nice half circles to the left, moving tension out of the neck and the head. Back through center, and then just switching directions. And then if you can, take it all the way back. Back through center, reverse the direction, right to left. When you're ready, could be on fire. Untucking the toes, whoo, and tap that energy. Good, getting the nerve blood supply back. But again, these are wonderful to do because all of that deep fascia in the feet, right? And a lot of stress and strenuous movements that you're doing in soccer, especially rapid or the kind of slow and stop movements, or fast and stop movements. So just take a moment to kind of feel that out. Take our legs over to left or right side body. Let's bring the soles of the feet to touch. So this one is known as Baddha Konasana, also butterfly. So really focusing on stretching through the adductors, as well as opening through the hips and back. You can use blocks if you find your knees are really high, right? It might not even serve you that well if they're that high, but again, even just middle there to support the legs to just release. And we want to create more of a diamond shape for the yin variation, right? Post soccer, as opposed to pre-soccer, we had our heels tugged more towards the pelvis, so more of an active state. So here we want to keep more soft. You can rest the hands on the ankles. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. There's lots of variations with the arms. You can keep them inside the lower legs. You can keep them in towards the waist, or you can take them out in front. You can also use blocks here to bring your arms a little support if reaching to the ground is not possible. It's us bringing the floor closer to us. And that's what propping is also so essential or so beneficial in doing. And just relax your neck and head. Again, lots of variations here, lots of options. As we inhale, find our way up. And typically a really good yin practice, not that this is not really good, this is excellent. Remember, it's better something than nothing. That's going to get you a lot further ahead. But you want to typically do a good yin hour practice, yoga. And you can also like pause this video and stay in those stretches longer, but also for the purpose of time and sometimes just making sure you have the time to get this in. This is going to be super beneficial. So we're going to come out of that butterfly and we're going to lying down on our backs. We're going to really focus now on the IT band, the iliotibial band on the side of the leg. Nice lumbar supine twist with this flow and a hamstring and then into the glutes. And hopefully that gives you a nice recovery from your practice or from your game. So taking the loop, and again, you don't have to do this. You can even just take the hands, the back, the calves, or use a towel or any other propping you have, and bring your right leg up to the ceiling. Keep flexion the foot, keep lifted through your quadriceps. You almost want to feel like you're lifting your right knee up. So now we're going to take the left leg out in front. So you're holding and you're supported hamstring stretch here. Again, you can bring it closer. I'm pretty flexible, obviously, just from doing yoga for so long, right? Like almost 15 years, teaching yoga for just over 10. So keep in mind, it takes a long time. So you can also just do this variation. You can also take your hand and kind of massage around the fascia there, right? You can definitely do that to help those muscles release more. And then I like to take my left hand on my left side to really ground the left side down as you bring the right elbow in. You can also float your head and chest up if you'd like and bring that leg closer, or stay right here. Keeping our right elbow rested down on the mat. So try to stay there for about 5 to 10 breaths. And then the iliotibial band, so the IT band, the really essential part here is that you keep your right leg hovered over on your left. So let's just add a little bit of support when we do this slight rotation. So bring your left foot down. You're going to also take the strap into your left hand. Lift your hip into a semi-bridge and just slightly scooch it to your right. Stretch your left leg back out. And now you're going to rotate using your left arm now, right? Left hand on the strap as you take your right leg over to the left. Keep the flexion in the foot. You want to try to maintain your right shoulder down. So if you're like flopping off the floor, then I'd suggest that you not bring the leg up as high. Remember progression, not perfection. Honor where you are today, right? As you do this more often, you're going to notice an increase in that mobility, that flexibility. So the IT band, again, if it's really, really tight because you do repetitive movements and you don't stretch a lot, it's probably going to be really tight and need it. But it's also very important to not overstretch the IT band because it supports the hip, thigh, the knee, and the ankle and the foot, right? So then opening up, inhale back towards the ceiling. You can bring your left leg bent so that you can bring your hip back to neutral. Right, make sure we are neutral in the spine. You can keep the left leg bent or straight as we now extend our right leg over to the right side. So it's going to feel like your glutes are actually slightly turned on, right? Because that's what helps activate this nice deep hip opener over to the right. So you can definitely do these stretches in standing, but it's going to be more of an active state. We want to avoid too much of an active state and more of a rest state. Really opening up through the inner thigh, groin areas. And then taking that right leg back up to the ceiling. You can bend the left knee, release the strap off the right, cross the right ankle over your left for that figure 4 stretch, also known as thread the needle. So you can definitely hang out, but for the purpose of these deep muscles working so much, I would opt more for coming into the full expression by taking hands to the back thigh, or if you find you're really flexible, you can also take it to the shin. If you find neither is available, you take your strap around the back of the left thigh. Hug it in, taking some stress off the shoulders. So staying here for at least 10 breaths. Good. And then releasing the right ankle. Give yourself that nice sway in the hips side to side. Beautiful. And then we're going to do that same sequence on the other side. So I'll stay here so you can kind of see how this side looks. So a little bit more. So now take the strap either to the left foot. Know that you can also just take the hands, yogi big toe lock here. For those more flexible, you can definitely choose that. Or hang out right here, low back bothering you. Keep your right leg bent. Low back feels pretty good. Stretch the right leg out. Left elbow bends in towards the side of the body. Right hand can rest on thigh. Beautiful thing about this nice flow using the strap is that you're going to feel so much more rooted and grounded, and you're going to feel so much more open in your legs and your hips and in your back. And now we're going to take the strap into our right hand. So notice now my left arm stays out to the left. You can also do a cactus, so bend the elbow. And you can bend the right knee, bring the right foot flat just to lift your hips slightly over to the left, extend the right leg, and now add that nice lumbar twist with the IT band, stretch over to the right. Remember, the leg is hovering, we're not letting it flop to the ground. You can also use your yoga blocks to rest your foot on top. Over time, you can also bring the foot closer to your face, so bring it upwards towards the head. As always, listen to your body. Key to always focus on progression, not perfection, and just honoring where your body is in that moment. The essence of the practice is the union of mind and body, and of being present. It's also about being present in our bodies. So you can take that back up to the ceiling. So bending your right knee and just making sure your hips are back to neutral. And now you can take the strap into your left hand, right arm goes out, right leg extends. And now you're going to open up to your left, flexion through the foot. You can also bring the right hand to rest around where your hip bone is, just below that, in that band, keeping our pelvis a little bit more neutral. Remember, if your right shoulder's coming off the ground, you're just not going as far down, right? So you're going where your body allows you to stay stable on the right. Good, let's take that left leg back up to the ceiling, bending the right knee, crossing left ankle over the right now, and fine thread the needle. So remember, we use the strap, or you can float your head and chest up, reach the back of that right hamstring, and hang out, or again, using more of that support with your strap. So that we can relax the neck and the shoulders. And gently, as we lower the right foot down, let's release any propping. Lower the left foot down. Give yourself some hip sways. So I recommend reaching for your block. Nice little added bonus. One of my favorite things to do, especially if you do have any issues with the low back, is taking a block, place it on the sacrum, which is a triangular shaped bone above the tailbone. And that's where we situate that. Really helps relax all the tension, especially in the pelvis, all of that activity from the game, all that energy you've expended. Just allow yourself this supported bridge pose. You can add an additional hip flexor opener by just stretching one leg out at a time. Or this will get a little bit more extension in your back body as well by taking both legs out. So if you find that's a little vulnerable, then you're just going to do one leg at a time, settle for a few breaths. Breathe in. As you exhale, just allow the pelvis to become heavy. Gently on the inhale, raising the hips to release your block. Bringing the soles of the feet to touch for Supta Baddha Konasana, lying down butterfly. Arms over the head into the number 11. Stretch out the deep core. Breathe belly up to heart. Heart down to belly. Staying there for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, extending your legs out to the corners of your mat for however long you need in final relaxation resting pose. It's always recommended at least 2 minutes. More beneficial would be 5. And just kind of feel your body letting go of all the stress and tension in mind and in body. Uplifting our spirit. Feeling more inspired to continue with our favorite soccer game or soccer practices, or in general, just feeling good in our bodies. So if you are resting there in Shavasana, close your eyes, keep your gaze towards your heart, close your eyes, soften the jaw, soften the muscles in the neck and the shoulders, soften the chest, soften the entire abdominal wall, the arms, the hands, and the fingertips. Relax the pelvis. Relax through the entire back body, the back of the buttocks, tops of the thighs, the back of the thighs, tops of the knees, back of the knees, top of the shins, back of the calves, all the way down into the ankles, the tops of the feet, the bottoms of the feet, all the way down to the tips of the toes. Inhale vitality. Exhale all stress and tension. And whenever you are ready, we can join together in seated lotus or stay as you are. Inhale as we reach our arms up to the sky, bringing our hands to our heart center to connect mind, body, and spirit as we gently bow. Thank you for joining me in your yoga practice, post-soccer, and anytime you just need to chill out. In honoring one another and this practice, namaste. Happy recovery.